1964. The first victim disappears near Hartwell farm. 1987. Local authorities note an unusual pattern of missing persons. 2024. A new property owner discovers a bunker that reveals a horrifying truth about 3 generations of killers. This is the story of America's longest-running family murder operation, and how one accidental discovery brought down a legacy of death that had been hidden beneath Montana soil for 60 years. The Hartwell family seemed like the perfect American farming dynasty. 3 generations working the same land, contributing to their community, raising children who stayed close to home. But beneath their 150-acre farm in Millbrook County, Montana, lay a concrete bunker that told a very different story. A story of systematic hunting, methodical killing, and a family tradition that had nothing to do with farming and everything to do with murder. If you're into family crime dynasties, multi-generational mysteries, and shocking discoveries that rewrite local history, subscribe now and hit the bell icon. March 15, 2024. Thornfield Farm, Millbrook County, Montana. Tom Bradley had been planning this landscaping project for months. The 42-year-old contractor had bought the old Hartwell farm 6 months earlier, planning to convert it into a wedding venue. The property was perfect rolling hills, mature trees, and a charming 1920s farmhouse that just needed some updating. The Hartwell family had been eager to sell, almost too eager, Tom thought at the time. 3 generations had lived on that land, but when old Samuel Hartwell died in 2023, his children couldn't wait to get rid of the property. They'd sold it for well below market value and moved out of state within weeks. Tom was installing a decorative pond behind the farmhouse when his excavators struck something solid 3 feet underground, metal, but not a pipe or septic tank, something larger, more deliberate. At first I thought it might be an old storm shelter, Tom later told investigators. A lot of these old farms have root cellars or tornado shelters. But when I cleared more dirt away, I realized this was something else entirely. What Tom had found was a concrete access hatch, perfectly preserved, with a heavy steel door that looked like it belonged on a military bunker. The door was locked, but the mechanism was old and corroded. After an hour of work, Tom managed to pry it open. The smell that rose from below made him stagger backward. Death, decay, and something else, disinfectant, as if someone had tried to clean away evidence but failed. Tom called the sheriff immediately. Sheriff Maria Santos had been working in Millbrook County for 15 years, but she'd never seen anything like what lay beneath Thornfield Farm. The bunker was massive, roughly 40 feet by 60 feet, divided into 12 separate rooms, each one about the size of a prison cell. The construction was professional. Reinforced concrete walls, proper ventilation, electrical wiring, and a drainage system. This wasn't something built hastily or by amateurs. Someone had invested serious time, money, and planning into this underground facility. It was like a private prison, Sheriff Santos said. Each room had a heavy door with multiple locks, a small window for observation, and minimal furnishing, just a cot, a bucket, and sometimes restraints bolted to the walls. But the most disturbing discovery wasn't the rooms themselves, it was what filled them. Personal belongings scattered throughout the bunker told the story of dozens of victims. Wallets, jewelry, clothing, driver's licenses dating back to the 1960s, a trucker's cap from 1967, a woman's purse from 1978, a college ID from 1985, and in the largest room, which appeared to be some kind of workshop, investigators found tools that had clearly been used for torture and disposal of bodies. Saws, chemicals, plastic sheeting, and detailed notes written in 3 different handwritings, 3 generations of the Hartwell family documenting their methods. The investigation into the Hartwell family began immediately. FBI agents, state investigators, and forensic experts descended on the farm to process what was clearly one of the largest crime scenes in Montana history. The Hartwell family had owned the farm since 1923, when Samuel's grandfather, Joseph Hartwell, bought the land and built the original farmhouse. Joseph was a World War I veteran who'd learned engineering and construction skills in the military. According to family records and local newspaper archives, the Hartwells were model citizens. Joseph served on the school board. His son Marcus ran the local hardware store and volunteered as a firefighter. Marcus's son Samuel was a church deacon who organized community fundraisers. But hidden family documents found in the farmhouse told a different story. Joseph Hartwell had started killing in 1964, according to detailed journals found in a locked filing cabinet. His first victim was a drifter who'd stopped at the farm looking for work. Joseph had offered him food and shelter, then led him to the newly completed bunker. The journals read like instruction manuals, said FBI agent David Chen, who led the investigation. Joseph didn't just kill randomly, he was studying his victims, documenting what worked and what didn't, refining his methods for maximum efficiency. Joseph's son Marcus inherited more than just the farm when his father died in 1989. He inherited a family business built on murder. For 60 years, the Hartwells had perfected a system for selecting and capturing victims. They targeted people who wouldn't be missed: hitchhikers, migrant workers, runaway teens, and drifters passing through rural Montana. The farm's location was perfect for their purposes. It sat on a remote county road that connected to major highways, a natural stopping point for travelers. The Hartwells would offer food, shelter, or work to vulnerable people, then lead them to the bunker. They were patient hunters, explained criminal psychologist Dr. Jennifer Walsh. They didn't kill everyone who came to the farm. They would evaluate each person carefully. Did they have family looking for them? Had they told anyone where they were going? Were they likely to be reported missing quickly? The victims who passed this horrible screening process would be taken to the bunker. There, according to the family's journals, they would be held for days or weeks while the Hartwells decided how to kill them. The journals revealed that each generation added their own innovations to the family business. Joseph focused on perfecting capture and containment. Marcus developed more efficient disposal methods. Samuel, the most recent generation, had begun targeting specific types of victims and keeping detailed psychological profiles. By the time Samuel took over in the 1990s, Agent Chen explained, they had turned serial killing into a science. They knew exactly what type of person to target, how to approach them, how to control them, and how to eliminate all evidence. Identifying the victims proved to be one of the most challenging aspects of the investigation. The Hartwells had been meticulous about destroying physical evidence, but they'd kept trophies, personal belongings that helped investigators piece together individual stories. Among the identified victims, Robert Bobby Martinez, age 19, a college student who disappeared while hitchhiking home for Christmas in 1972. His family had never stopped searching for him. Linda Thompson, age 34, a single mother who went missing in 1983 while traveling to a new job in California. Her 8-year-old daughter spent decades wondering what happened to her mother. James Morrison, age 45, a Vietnam veteran who disappeared in 1995 while walking across the country to deal with PTSD. His brother had hired multiple private investigators over the years. The investigation ultimately identified 47 victims spanning from 1964 to 2023, nearly one person per year for 6 decades. What made this case so tragic, said Sheriff Santos, was that many of these people had families who never stopped looking for them. We were able to bring closure to families who had been wondering for 40, 50, even 60 years what happened to their loved ones. The Hartwells' last victim was also what led to their downfall. In August 2023, just months before Samuel Hartwell's death, a homeless veteran named David Park had stopped at the farm seeking work. Unlike previous victims, David had been staying at a veteran's shelter that tracked its residents carefully. When he didn't return, the shelter contacted local authorities and provided them with David's last known location, Hartwell Farm. Sheriff Santos had questioned Samuel Hartwell about David's disappearance, but Samuel claimed he'd never seen the man. With no evidence of foul play, the investigation stalled. But Samuel knew his family's secret was in danger of being exposed. According to his final journal entries, found after his death, he was planning to seal the bunker permanently and move the family away from Montana. Samuel wrote that the hunting grounds had become too dangerous, Agent Chen revealed. He knew that modern technology, better communication between law enforcement agencies, and more thorough missing persons investigations meant their method was no longer sustainable. Samuel died of a heart attack in December 2023, just for months before Tom Bradley's excavator uncovered the family's 60-year secret. The discovery at Hartwell Farm triggered one of the largest missing persons investigations in Montana history. The FBI established a dedicated task force to identify victims and notify families across the country. Samuel's children, the fourth generation of Hartwells, were questioned extensively, but ultimately not charged. Investigators found no evidence that they knew about the bunker or participated in the killings. They had sold the farm and moved away immediately after their father's death, apparently unaware of the family's dark legacy. The bunker has been sealed and the farm sits empty, while legal proceedings continue. The property has been deemed unsellable, and the state is considering turning it into a memorial for the victims. For the families of the identified victims, the discovery brought a mixture of closure and renewed grief. "For 50 years, I wondered if my brother was still alive somewhere," said Margaret Martinez, Bobby's sister. "Part of me hoped he was living under new identity, that maybe he'd lost his memory or chosen to disappear. Learning the truth was horrible, but at least now I know. At least now I can finally say goodbye." The Hartwell farm murders represent one of the longest-running serial killing operations in American history. For 3 generations, a family passed down not just land and property, but a tradition of systematic murder that claimed 47 lives over 60 years. The case serves as a chilling reminder that evil can hide behind the most ordinary facades and that sometimes, the most dangerous predators are the ones who seem most normal, most helpful, most willing to offer shelter to those who need it most. For more shocking family crime stories and multi-generational mysteries, subscribe to Dark Discoveries. Because sometimes, the darkest secrets are the ones passed down through generations.